Hi everyone, this is Reverend Brandon, and I just wanted to hop on to our Facebook page and record a little bit of a live video for you and for our families. So what I'm going to be doing, just give me a moment, I'm adjusting my camera stand here so that I have my hands free and we've got the best picture. What I'm going to be doing every Sunday afternoon, and then we'll also do this on Thursdays at 3, is I'm going to just come onto our Facebook page and I'm going to share a story, a meditation, something specifically geared for our families, something for them to during this time when we're not able to meet for spirit school. So, of course, after these videos are done, we will save them on our Facebook page so that you have the opportunity to get your spiritual nourishment as a family during these weeks, or during this week as well, or during these few weeks. So welcome to all of you, whether you're watching us live or you're watching this later. We hope that you have this opportunity to connect with spirit, to connect with the light that shines in you. So today I'm going to share a story with you, and then we're going to do a little bit of a meditation, again, towards the youth and the families. And then my hope is that maybe as a family you'll continue to discuss these things during the week. So the story that I have to read to you today is called "You're Different and That's Super." It's actually was written by Carson Kressley. If any of you ever watched the old Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, Carson was one of the Fab Five, one of the original Fab Five. A book he wrote about how all of us, even though we're different, we all have a unique gift to give to the world. So we're going to start by just sharing this story with you, and then we'll go into a time of meditation. And then after the meditation, we'll just say our brief namaste and goodbye to one another for this week. So this is "You're Different, and that's super." Let's see. Figure out the best way to, maybe if I, all right. So the spring that Trumpet was born, there were many new foals in the pasture that almost no one noticed that one little sassy colt who didn't belong to any of the mares. For the most part, the foals born that spring were like those born every year. Some were dappled, some had stars between their eyes, some were frisky, and some were shy. But the little orphan colt was different. He had a coat that was as white as the falling snow, a mane as golden as summer sunshine, and a whinny so loud and so clear that everyone took to calling him Trumpet. And there's little Trumpet right there. Not a soul knew where Trumpet had come from, but he could run swiftly and jump as high as any of the foals, so the mares shrugged their shoulders and took the little scamp in. And for that first year, Trumpet was just like all the other kids. They frolicked and they raced through the summer. In the fall, they discovered scrum-diddly-umptious apples together. And in the winter, snow fell. They slept nuzzled together in the big red barn. Looked after by all the mares and treated like a brother by all his friends, Trumpet was easily the most popular colt around. The trouble started on the morning of Trumpet's first birthday, when a bump began to grow on top of his forehead. At first, the bump hid under Trumpet's bushy forelock, so nobody really noticed what was happening. But before long, it poked through his hairdo. "Icky," he heard Sunshine whisper when she thought he couldn't hear. "And weird," Tuckabuckaway whinnied. But the bump grew and grew, and by the time autumn arrived, it had become a full-fledged horn. A horn that got caught in the low branches of the apple tree during races in the meadow. And accidentally poked Wooligan in the eye. And after that, Sunshine told Trumpet that he couldn't play with them anymore. You can see poor little Trumpet walking off in the distance. All of Trumpet's besties looked at him like he was some sort of hideous beast, so Trumpet began to spend his time alone. He avoided the cool shade of the apple tree in the pasture and moved down to the last stall in the barn. Every night his head was the first to hit the hay, and it was also the only one with a horn. Still others whispered about him. What's wrong with him, they asked one another when they thought Trumpet couldn't hear them. What's wrong with me, Trumpet asked himself. I don't want to be different. Different is awful. Then one night, Trumpet awoke to the sound of nervous whinnying. The barn was full of smoke. At the far end, 2 mares were trying to stamp out a fire, but the flames were spreading quickly under those hooves. All the other ponies were rearing, clamoring, and pawing at the barn doors, but they wouldn't budge. Through the crack between the doors, the ponies could see the latch was securely fastened. Even the smallest pony-sized hooves and snouts were too big to fit through the narrow space and open it. At that precise moment, Trumpet knew it was good to be different. He pushed through all the other ponies, poked his horn between the doors, and began to raise the latch. It was harder than he looked. The barn was burning, and the other ponies were crowded and pushing. When the latch finally came free, the barn doors swung open, and Trumpet and all his friends sprang into the chilly night. By the time the farmer reached the barn, everyone was safe. But how did they get the doors open, he wondered. Then, for the first time, the farmer noticed Trumpet. The rest, if you will, is history. After the local news ran the story, everybody wanted to see the real live unicorn, because the farmer could clearly see that Trumpet was a unicorn. Suddenly, being different was super, and soon Trumpet was traveling all over the world, making new friends and causing a sensation. Being a famous, one-of-a-kind, too good to be true, can you believe it, wonder. After Trumpet was whisked away, things at the stable just weren't the same. But maybe they'll be different again come spring. And so what I want to share with you all about that story is that sometimes it feels like we don't have a gift to give to the world. Sometimes it feels like we're different and we don't fit in. And what I want all of you to know, all of you children, all of you families, all of you teens, is that every one of you has something to give to this world. That's exactly what Reverend Erin was talking about earlier today. And when we can identify that good and we can identify that gift, we can share it with the world. The things that we often think make us different make us actually unique and special. And so what I would encourage you this week to do as a family is to think about what it is that makes you unique, what it is that makes you special, and how it is that you can give that gift into our world. Because we all have something to give, whether we're unicorns like Trumpet, or we're humans, we're spirit having a human experience. So for right now, until we get together on Thursday again, just think about what it is you can give and how you can shine that light into the world. So we're going to close this youth time just with a moment of meditation. I know right now, especially with many of our kids may not be in school and also may be confused about why we also have to stay home. I've had to explain to Harper several times this week, well, yes, I know, but we can't go to the skating rink. We're not going to go to the zoo right now, or the children's museum's closed right now. And it can be hard to feel joy, but one of the things we know is that joy isn't always jumping around. Sometimes joy is quiet and can be experienced in moments of calm. So let's just take a moment, wherever you are, center yourself in for a time of meditation. Because one good way to feel that inner joy is to calm ourselves now inside and outside, to find feelings of what we call quiet joy. So if it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes so as we're not distracted by other things. Breathe in deeply and slowly. And as you breathe, slowly back out. Say silently to your hands, hands, be still. And breathe in deeply and slowly again. And as you breathe slowly back out, say silently to your feet, feet, be still. Now as you breathe in and out slowly one more time, feel your whole body being still and quiet. And picture yourself walking outside through a meadow. As you listen, you can hear a stream flowing a little way away. You walk toward it and watch it flowing slowly by. And so you lay down on the cool grass next to the riverbank and look up through the bright green leaves of the tree above you. You can feel the warmth of the sun coming through the leaves and feel the grass, the breath of the wind against your skin as it moves the leaves of the tree and the blades of the grass beneath you. You can smell the sweet scent of the flowers growing nearby. Off in the distance, you see a bird circling around and around, enjoying the wind and the sun. Birds in the trees are singing to each other. How beautiful. Their song is sweet, but it just keeps changing slightly. And so we rest in this peaceful feeling for just a few moments as we listen, as we see, and as we hear the peace around us. This peaceful feeling we have is quiet joy. We feel lifted up inside because of this wonderful feeling that fills us. We can come back to this place and this feeling of quiet joy anytime we want by closing our eyes and picturing ourselves here, knowing that quiet joy is within us always. And so it is with that in our heart that we say, thank you, Spirit, for always being with me. Thank you, Spirit, for always letting me feel the joy of your presence with me. And as we open our eyes, we can all say together, thank you, Spirit, for joy within. Together, thank you, Spirit, for joy within. And so it is. Amen. Well, thank you all for spending a little bit of time with me. Hopefully this is beneficial to you and your family. And we'll be back. We'll be back on Thursday afternoon with more sort of family-oriented spiritual activities for you to connect with. These videos will stay live. Well, they'll not live. They'll stay on our Facebook page. So you can reconnect with them throughout the week as you see fit. And I do believe now that our schedule's been posted online with other virtual events for you to connect with Unity Village Chapel throughout the week. So I thank you all for being a part of this today. And thank you all for our patience as we sort of stumble through these next few weeks together as we learn and grow what works best for us as a community and how we can maintain connected. So thank you all. Namaste. God bless you, and have a wonderful week.